What's up, everybody? Sunkissed here, and in today's video, we're going to be answering a question that I think a lot of you probably have, and that is, can you do more damage with a Bloodied build or with a Ghoul build? We're going to dive into that. We're going to test how much damage you can do with Furious on a Bloodied build, and then Furious on a Ghoul build. We're also going to test to see if running Bloodied instead of Furious on a Bloodied build is actually better. So stick around for that, and catch you at the end of the video. Alright, first up is going to be the Bloodied build. We'll be testing our Bloodied build with a Bloodied explosive Gatling Plas. The Furious test will be the same thing as this build, just with a Furious as the first star. But for buffs, we will be running a Big Gun Bobblehead, a Heavy Gun Crit Magazine, an Overdrive, and Blight Soup. So we'll keep those same buffs consistent between the Bloodied human character and the Bloodied Ghoul character. The armor doesn't really matter too much. I don't have rangers on any of the pieces, and we'll be critting every other shot with both builds. It's just done in a slightly different way. But let's see what sort of damage we kind of get here. This is a voiceover, so I'm looking back at this footage, but I'm pretty sure the highest damage that I was able to hit was just under 2,600 damage. As you can see, like 2,570, something around there. Keep in mind, for both the Bloodied tests, my health will be just under Nerd Rage being active. Alrighty, moving over to the Furious weapon on the Bloodied build. As you can see, the only thing different here is going to be the Furious first star. I'll go over the build in just a moment for both the Bloodied and the Ghoul character, but no difference between any buffs other than just changing the Furious first star on the Gatling Plasma. Again, this is a voiceover, so we're going to kind of look back at this footage, and I believe the kind of highest damage that I was starting to hit here was that 2790, or just under 2800 damage, so fairly efficient, but that's kind of where the Furious Gatling Plas is on a Bloodied build. Moving over to the Furious Gatling Plas on our Ghoul character, we'll have pretty much about every damaging perk you can have equipped for a Ghoul in the build. Again, I'll go over both builds at the kind of end of this video here, but just scrolling through and looking at our buffs, we'll have a Crit Magazine, a Heavy Guns Bobblehead, and then an Overdrive. Also want to mention all of the mutations are exactly the same for these, so there's no difference there, and I'm not running Taking One for the Team on either of these builds, just to remain consistent there as well. So once we hit our full stack of Furious, we are hitting around 2850. I do believe I'm able to hit close to 3,000 in just a moment here. Yeah, 3,000 damage. So that takes the cake. Being a Ghoul when you have high glow and using Furious is going to net the best DPS that you can get. Now, I haven't like averaged out how long it takes to spam, glow consumables, but just pure damage output, Ghoul will be the best way. Taking a look at our Ghoul Heavy Gunner build. Here, actually, sorry, 1 second. Here's the special point allocation. I will have 4 legendary special cards maxed out, as well as Funky Duds maxed out, but there's a special point allocation. And we pretty much just have everything that could possibly give us damage maxed out, including all of the Heavy Gunner perks, Radiation Power, Science Monster. Not sure if Mad Scientist works on the Gatling Plasma, but if it does, we have that. Demolition Expert. All of the Gunslinger perks maxed out, essentially. Gunslinger, Gorilla perks. Better Criticals. Critical Savvy, Faulty Spots, and Glowing Criticals. So pretty much every single damage boosting perk card we have on this build. And the mutations, going to be the same as the Bloodied build, but it's Bird Bones, Eagle Eyes, Egghead, Herbivore, Herd Mentality, Marsupial, and Speed Demon. So similar to the Bloodied build, we'll have the same legendary perk cards, but here's a look at the normal special point allocation. Again, just go back up here just to double check for you, but yep, just have special cards and Funky Duds active. Nothing too crazy here. We essentially will have all of the cards that can boost our damage active, that being all the heavy gunner perks, concentrated fire for accuracy. I guess bullet shield technically offers us a little reflective damage, but in the test it doesn't really show up at all. Tenderizer is offering us some damage. Nerd Rage is going to be specific to the Bloodied build, and Demolition Expert, just like on the Ghoul build. And all the Gunslinger and Gorilla cards maxed out, essentially. And for luck, we're going to have Bloody Mess, Better Criticals, 4-Leaf Clover, Class Freak, Curator, Critical Savvy, and Good with Salt. Before we get into our full breakdown, just want to clarify, I know that the explosive second star, maybe not the most efficient one, but that's just what I use. That's what I like to use. I like to tag with that as the second star at events and stuff, so that's just how I run my Gatling Plaz. I believe the current best DPS you can get is faster fire rate as a second star, but that's just what I use. Jumping into the actual breakdown, though, for our Bloodied build, using the Bloodied first star on the Gatling Plaz, the highest crit damage I was able to achieve was 2,580. On the Bloodied build with the Furious first star on the Gatling Plaz, the highest I was able to achieve was 2,790. And once I got up to the full stacks of damage on the Ghoul build, using the Furious first star, I was hitting 3,040 damage crits. So I'm a little surprised, actually. I thought these were going to be a little bit closer, but at its best, at Bloodied's best damage, Ghoul still beats it out by like 200 extra damage per crit. So you're definitely going to be taking down bosses much quicker with the Ghoul build, so long as you're able to keep your glow high. Now that's a point of discussion whether or not you make up for the DPS loss you would take from spamming glow consumables or high radiation consumables. On PC, it's no question, since you can bind a key to toxic goo and never have to stop shooting. On console, you have to stop shooting to spam it, so haven't really tested effective DPS over an extended period of time, but strictly just on paper, Ghoul definitely beats out a Bloodied build. And I did the best I could to remain everything pretty constant, I guess, for these. Tried to choose perks that are offered on both the human character and the Ghoul character that allows us to hit max damage for each of those build types. We use the same buffs, we use the same mutations, and the armor was slightly different, but we didn't have rangers on any of the pieces, so shouldn't be affecting the damage at all. If your number one goal is just strictly damage output in Fallout 76, right now your best option is going to be as a Ghoul heavy gunner, using Furious as your first star with all of the Gorilla and Gunslinger / Onslaught cards maxed out. That will do it for today's video. Thanks a ton for watching. I really appreciate it. If you haven't hit the sub button already, definitely do so to stick around for future content. But that will do it, and I'll catch you in the next one.